Welcome to Theo Trade. This is Don Kaufman, January 25th, 2023. Just about 13 minutes to go to the cash close here on this Wednesday afternoon. Well, what are we looking at? The marketplace just rallies back. People, this has become the rally that just will not die. Really resilient S&Ps today, and we're going to discuss exactly that and what you can expect into the latter portion of the week. Let's get right to work. Right here, right now, S&Ps are down just about 8 handles. However, we have been down, well, dramatically in today's trading session, and I cannot stress that enough. Touching all the way down to the 39.63, and literally, it's a rip to the upside. Now, before I go any further at this point, yes, some earnings announcements have happened, and yes, the earnings have definitely played a fairly critical role in the sell side activity. But the rally back, well, it's not exactly what you think. And listen, I don't want to just start getting all bared up over here. But one thing that's come up a substantial amount just in the last couple of days, people are asking me, they're like, is this the next, bull market? Is it really picking up? So before I actually jump into kind of the crux of this evening's video, I want to discuss, okay, a little bit of the long game right now, and that is what we can kind of anticipate inside of the S&P 500, not just necessarily the remainder of the week, but what we're looking at here in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. The first thing that I question is, you saw what has occurred last year, and specifically some fairly, again, wild volatility hits the marketplace. And again, the first question I would have for you on that particular front, do you think that volatility is just going to abate? Now, obviously, that's to your own devices, whether you believe that that's going to abate. But one of the questions that's really come into play is, hey, is this the start of a new bull market? And for that, I'm going to jump to products like NVIDIA. And the reason I'm going to go to NVIDIA is I want you to look, okay, with me here. This is a 3-year chart, obviously, this wild run to the upside, even more wild run probably to the downside. But at this point in time, when you're starting to think about, is it a new bull market? Like, do you see a lot of green shoots? Green shoots, of course, being like, we're growing into a new bull market over here. Or would it make more sense? Is this just kind of a quintessential rip your face off rally? And I hate to use that terminology, but hey, look, that's the terminology. This is a marketplace where the rally just will not die. But here's the reality of it. I want you to, again, look at NVIDIA. And if we look at the year-to-date percentage, do you realize NVIDIA is actually up? That's right, people, just shy of 35% on a year-to-date basis. Now, what grabs us about that is, how violent the move has been to the upside. In fact, if we apply auto expected moves, in fact, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to apply auto expected moves. This is something I've actually taken just recently a short position on, neither here nor there. This is my directional bias, doesn't matter in this case. We were flat the first week of trade. We smashed the upper edge of the expected move the second week. Okay, we actually broke the upper edge of the expected move the third week of trade, and here we are. We are outside the upper edge of the expected move. I mean, statistically, that is wicked right now to the upside. And again, I asked the question: is this just a wild bid back? Okay, or is it the beginning of a new bull market? Like, has the economic environment changed enough such that we're believing we're in a new bull market? And for that, and again, I don't mind going into like something like, well, look at what Microsoft said yesterday. I mean, ultimately, what are they looking at yesterday? Well, they're actually talking about how their cloud business is going to be a little bit slower. And immediately, Microsoft, which initially traded substantially higher, the CFO came out and actually said things are not exactly looking as good in the cloud business. The stock tanked, nevertheless rallied back. So at this particular point in time, again, the only point that I'm trying to get to resonate with you is, yeah, the marketplace has got a wild bid back under it, okay? But from my point of view, and strictly from my point of view, it's nothing but that. It's the wild bid back under the marketplace that's, look, okay, it's never too late. We had some wild sell side activity into the year end, and here it is. Is the bid back under us? How long is it going to be sustained? Listen, these short squeezes can go on for a while. But we entitled tonight's video, the rally that will not die. and it feels like that. But quite frankly, I'm even a little bit surprised when I look at the S&P futures that we have not exploded all the way back up to 4211. And I've talked about that particular level just incessantly. Let's explode back to the 4211. Except this morning, the exact opposite happened. Some negative news from Microsoft. We actually sold off. We've got Tesla coming out after the bell over here. Neither here nor there. Like, listen, the economic environment hasn't necessarily changed. Okay, I believe that we're probably just in the first round of layoffs at many of the large tech companies, but there is a lot more economic fallout to still happen here. And even though we're on a bid back at this point, I'm going to remain very, very consistent with my directional feel, and that is unequivocally bearish at this point. And part of me, when I look at rallies like this, first of all, I assume that those rallies, they have to play out. And I actually want us back up here at the 4211 because I think it makes much more of a shortable case, if you will. Like, I'd love to step in and be like, hey, man, it's a pretty good place to short. Not sure we're actually going to make it. I'm not sure we're actually going to make it back to the 4211. We would have to have some, some pretty decent news, and that would have to come out of the either the GDP. It could be as early as tomorrow, GDP, and or durable goods. Durable goods could be really be a rocking event tomorrow, and that is an hour, of course, before the cash open. We've even got, it's durable goods and GDP and retail inventory. It's going to be a party tomorrow. As I said, markets lately, when it comes to big news, every data point is just like chocolate covered hand grenades to this marketplace. And that's the way we've traded. It's, for the most part, we've had this upward bias. Okay, but that upward bias, it's listlessly grinding a little bit higher. Obviously, we had a tumultuous sell-off this morning, followed by a rip your face off rally. But you can even see we're struggling into the cash close on today's trade. But I wanted to give a little bit of insight to the bigger picture over here. And the bigger picture is, quite frankly, okay, if you if you're telling me this is the beginning of a new bull marketplace, not only am I not buying it, I am absolutely definitively with both hands selling it, because the rally that will not die, it will die. Okay, and it'll probably die with one of these data points that comes out that points to the fact, like, hey, we're going to have data points. Inflation is cooling, inflation and cooling. It's only a matter of time before durable goods or CPI comes out and be like, inflation, it ain't cooling. Okay, or the Fed comes out and they go, yeah, we're going to be pretty steadfast here because the employment numbers are still really, really good. Like, if you look at the job losses, you hear about Microsoft and you hear about job losses in Google and you hear about job losses through and through. But at the exact same time, the unemployment rate, it's record lows. It's like 40-year lows. So, unequivocally, that gives bandwidth for the Fed to actually turn around and say, no, we should push even harder, knock inflation out. With that, let's go into some particulars. As I said about Microsoft, here's one that got smoked in the after hours, had a nice bid back under it. And to see Microsoft after their announcement, this is where everybody goes, it was all priced in. Really? What was priced in over here? Like, when I say what was priced in, Microsoft had a pretty good bid to the year. Stock's actually up, slightly on the year. Nevertheless, okay, it's still well off some of the recent lows, okay, in and around the 213 level. So Microsoft got a bid back under it, even after, if you will, some negative news. We're going to see how Tesla's going to play out, as I said, after the close. Tesla's a bit of a different story, but again, this looks like, the quintessential bear market rally. And to me, nothing has changed from 2022 other than the fact, we're on a 3-week rally. Well, no, we've been on 3-week rallies before. Look at the S&Ps for just a second. There were broad rallies in here, huge rallies throughout the course of 2022. Okay, listen to me. That's par for the course in the midst of, again, a lot of volatility out there. So keep it in mind. Again, Microsoft's out, Tesla's coming out after the bell. One of the other main things that I wanted to point out about today's rally is less about like Microsoft and much more. It's about the financials. And I continue to reiterate this. Watch the financials, because the financials, they set the tone unequivocally for the lows of the trading session. They set the tone. They drove us to the lows of the trading session, and guess what? That was the bid back under this marketplace. You look at the S&Ps, they're down on the day. You look at the financials, they're actually up on the day. In fact, if you take a look at the financials in terms of auto expected moves, right now we're to the upper edge of the expected move. After last week, the financials, they got hit hard. There's a big rally back. This is the product, and I keep saying it week in and week out. The financials, you got to watch them. If we're going to break lower, sure, Tesla can actually play a role in a rally or a sell-off. Durable goods is going to play a role. GDP is going to play a role. Retail sales and so forth. That's all going to play roles. All the different data points. The Fed next week is going to play a role. But it's the financials that are really going to take the cake right now. If we're going to have more sell-side activity, it has got to be done on the back of these financials. Last but definitely not least, as we do every Wednesday here on the Theo Trade evening video, take a look at the SPX, the mother of all products. So the move this week. And when I start talking about moves, I'm talking about the expected move. And I want to reiterate something that I talk about incessantly, okay, on the weekend update. If we cruise right over here to the scratch pad, scroll down to the bottom of it, look, okay, we were on about a $71 expected move this week. And what that implies is you're looking for the $71 move higher or $71 move, okay, lower. All right, we came within a few points of the $71 move. In fact, in this particular instance, I'll kind of scream, we're home, because we were supposed to hit 40, 44. The actual high tick in the SPX was 40.39. 5 points I would actually count as nothing more than about a rounding error in a $4,000 product. Nevertheless, for the most part, we did actually tag the upper edge of the expected move. This morning, we actually pulled back substantially lower, but here we are again, at 40.13. S&Ps are just kind of hanging out. And as I said, this feels like the rally that will not die. It's going to be some type of like exogenous catalyst. Could be the data points that come out tomorrow. Okay, could be positioning prior to the Fed, but strap in, people. We're not done, okay, with the volatility. And I continually want to reiterate this particular point. Just between now and Friday, and things have kind of feel like maybe they mellowed out a little bit, but just between now and Friday, we're still expecting almost a 50-point move in this marketplace. As I said, Tesla coming out after the bell, okay, there's a whole lot that could transpire in here, and the rally feels like it's not going to die and could snap in an instant. Thanks everybody for joining us here at Theo Trade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.